eating chuck steak and started eating tenderloin. She also remembered telling that story to Brad the cop on their second date, and his condescending response that the tenderloin got its name from the tender loins of the prostitutes who worked the streets after dark. That was their last date. She glanced up to see how low the sun had dropped. As she did, she felt hard hands close around her arms from behind. Her mind went blank with surprise as the hands dug deep into her flesh and propelled her sideways into the opening of an alley. One heel on her $25 knockoffs snapped at the change in direction, and she stumbled, held up only by the grip of the person behind her. She was too scared to utter a sound. He flung her against the back wall of the alley, snagging the strap of her purse as he let her go. It caught in the crook of her elbow, slewing her around as she staggered, knocking her hip into a metal garbage can so full of trash it didn't even rock as she bounced off it and against the bricks of the wall. As he tore open the purse, she stood there, frozen, staring at him, holding on to the wall behind her. It took a couple of seconds to find the 2 5s and a 10 that were the only money in the purse. Fury building inside of him, he crumpled the bills in his fist and waved them at her. "This ain't nothing but chump change, lady." She didn't speak, just stared open-mouthed through a whirl of wavy brown hair that had stuck to her face. Her eyes were wide. Jimmy liked that. "Maybe I'll have to take my pay some other way," he snarled at her, enjoying the raw fear of her expression. He lunged forward, clamping his hand over her mouth, her teeth hard against his palm. This close, he thought he could smell it, the copper tang of terror that hung between them like ozone, crackling in his nose, lighting up his adrenal glands in a tight clutch across the small of his back. "That scare ya?" he asked as he leaned close enough to make her cheek moist with his breath. "Good. I always like seeing fear in my victims' eyes." Then he realized her eyes weren't focused on him, but were looking up and behind him. A tiny whimper escaped her lips. "What a coincidence!" The snarling hiss of a voice came from above. It wasn't quite human. The filtered light of the falling sun cut out, dropping predator and prey both into shadow. The chill that ran up his spine didn't come from the sudden dark, however. "So do we." He turned to find the darkness falling on him, broken only by the stark white impression of a spider, 2 pale Rorschach blots, and teeth. So many teeth in a raw, red mouth. The thing was human, sort of, but it was big, really big. It dropped down beside him, all swollen muscles coated in inky darkness. Tendrils of the blackness swirled off of its limbs, looking like wind-blown ink as the newcomer hunched there. Instantly, it shrugged upright, turning toward him, and he realized the white splotches were eyes. Eyes that were blank and menacing on the round head of the creature. Eyes that hovered over the mouth full of murderous teeth. Those eyes broke him, shut down every bit of feral courage the streets had instilled in him. His guts went to water and his knees went to rubber, and even though he still clung to his victim, Jimmy wanted nothing more than to flee. Before he could turn to bolt, to run, to escape, the creature's hand shot up, black claws clamping on his throat like a collar. "You're despicable," it gritted as he felt the sharp bite of talons.